Matty motorcycle fans, welcome back. Today we get to talk about BMW's 2020 R1250RS. I think that these motorcycles should be flying off of dealerships. Quite possibly the best BMW I have ever ridden. Now we got a format together this time, so we're going to talk about nose to tail all the pieces, some pros and cons, and then stay tuned for an awesome summary of just why I think this bike is the best BMW out there. One of the most fun pieces of this bike is definitely the styling. BMW came out with these LED, super cool alien eye headlights that they've been putting on all their new models. I think it's great. After that, right on the front, we have this wind protection. Super simple and easy to use. And let me tell you folks, it feels premium. Can't bust this, and while you're riding it, it doesn't move, doesn't wiggle, doesn't budge, which is fantastic. Moving on, we still got Brembo brakes on this bike. BMW didn't put their BMW brakes on it. We got Brembos. Thanks BMW, love the Brembos. Of course, ABS, all the different traction control settings, wheel speed monitor, lets you know how much air is in the front tire, but the real winner is this front suspension. Folks, you can set it to do whatever you want. Obviously, I'm a fan of dynamic mode, and let me tell you, the front end feel of this bike coming in and out of corners gives you all the confidence in the world. You really feel way cooler than you are when you're riding this bike with that front end feel. Now folks, the comfort of this machine versus what it does is unparalleled. You have, of course, your standard BMW trellis frame, takes all the tensions from braking and hard acceleration. Super comfy seat, reach to the handlebar, no problem, awesome riding position. The foot pegs, if you're tall, it can be a little bit cramped, but I'm saying tall, 6'1", 6'2". So anybody from 5'9" all the way up to 6 foot, maybe a little bit more, super comfy. I'm 6 feet tall, this thing fits me like a glove. After that, we have an auto blipper and a quick shifter, which is my absolute personal favorite. I love not having to use the clutch after I'm rolling. The blipper works fan-freaking-tastic all the way up through the gears. As standard, we're gonna get to that engine, but the BMW Boxer really doesn't like going first to second or second to first. So up and down, it's a little clunky. But other than that, we're living the dream here, okay? This rear shock, of course, fully adjustable via the computer. Push in a couple buttons, let them know you have a passenger, let them know you got cases or luggage on the back, and it is automatically set up for you going in and out of corners, riding comfortably on the highway all day, every day. Now is my favorite part. 1939 is when BMW came out with this Boxer engine, so needless to say, they got all the kinks worked out. And this 1250 iteration is absolutely the best one yet. Super smooth for a Boxer, but yet it still gives you that real visceral ride, wiggle, back and forth that you come to expect from all your BMWs. Doesn't throw off what you're doing, and you really only notice it at stoplights, but boy, this thing feels awesome. Now, this new one is equipped with shift cam. Motorcycle Matty, what's shift cam mean? Well, I'm gonna tell you exactly. These things are known to be army tank engines, so drag you up a hill in a big GS, but in this particular model, with the shift cam technology, when you're looking for that down low grunt, it shifts the cam down to the lower revs to give you that more torque and available power. And then when you're cruising on the highway and you're looking to accelerate real fast, the cam shifts to a little bit longer rev range so that you can move easy in and out of traffic, super smooth without it clunking around. It's a marvel. I highly recommend you try it. On to the booty of this beauty. Now it stands out nice and clear. You get this big plastic coated exhaust. Just so for the record, that's the first thing I would switch out. But sounds just as good as you'd expect from a stock muffler. Moving on from that, we have the single-sided swing arm with a shaft drive in it. BMW, I love your shaft drive. It's super smooth, doesn't knock around, and all my guys out there who plan on owning their bikes for years and years and traveling on them, zero maintenance, lasts forever. Thank you so much. Yeah, 80,000 miles out of a shaft, you try getting that out of a chain without adjusting it and oiling it every 400 miles, all right? This is where it's at. Again, bags go here. Person's booty goes here, go for days. On to the pros and cons of this motorcycle. Before we begin, I got a quick shout out going out to Gold Coast Motorsports for lending us this motorcycle. Gold Coast is located in New Hyde Park, right here on Long Island, about 25 minutes out of Manhattan. Folks, they got BMWs, they got Triumphs, they got Ducatis, they got KTMs, any European brand and model that you would know and love, they got it there, and the place is fantastic. You know that's my favorite word. Guys, go check them out, go give them a call. Information will be here at the bottom of the screen. Gold Coast Motorsports, thanks for the bike. Now on to the pros. First off, like we said earlier, the styling. It looks so cool, and BMW actually has this as a sport bike. So you get that sporty feel, that sporty style, with comfort and the ease of riding of a sport tourer. It's really put together very well. And it handles incredibly. The pro has definitely got to be the handling. This thing gives you all the confidence in the world coming in and out of corners, and especially on the highway, super smooth and easy to ride. The power's always there when you want it. You gotta love that. Now, like we said, this engine is over 80 years old, 80 years of design and refinement. They definitely have it together. It's really an amazing feat of engineering here. Now, BMW is always known for quality, and this premium machine is definitely where it's at. The way it's built, the thought that's gone into it, the chassis, the suspension, the way the computer talks to the whole machine, a pro has definitely got to be the engineering and the way it's built. This is definitely the best BMW that I've ever ridden. Now, the cons. On the flip side, this bike, 550 pounds, 135 horsepower. Leaves a little bit to be wanted. I would love an extra 15 horsepower. At 150, this thing rocks. So maybe we switch out the exhaust, change the fueling a little bit. I bet we can get at least another 10 out of her. After that, the wind protection. This windscreen is great, but if you got big broad shoulders and a big old head with a helmet on, sometimes you get a little bit of buffeting. It's not the worst, it's not the best, it's just something that maybe if you get it, I would put on an aftermarket windscreen. Then, these mirrors. They're actually in a great position. You can see totally past your elbows, but they're really tiny. Now, aerodynamic is one thing. You can definitely see that these are put together to get the wind around it, but they're super small, and trying to see important stuff behind you. Maybe you'll see one big truck, but you won't see anything else around it. Little dicey. Most of the time I could just turn my head and fix that. Not the end of the world, just something I was thinking of. And last is the exhaust. It sounds just as good as the stock's exhaust should sound, but I love a little bit more sound, I love a little bit more style, and I love them a little bit smaller. The exhaust on this bike is a little big for me personally. But other than that, this thing is wonderful. I highly recommend you go check it out. And at between 17 and 18,000 bucks, the bang for your buck on this machine is perfect. You get all the bells and whistles of the highest end BMWs without spending $25,000 or $30,000. 10 grand less for all this? I don't know why these are in any showroom anywhere. These should be sold out countrywide, that's for sure. The sporty handling, you get passenger and bag accommodations, 5.5 gallon tank, so you can drive about 300 miles before you need a fill up, if you're being conservative. And of course, this bike versus the GS. It's the same engine, but you get taller gearing, so it's easier to ride on the highway. It handles better than the GS. The only thing is, if you're going off-road, this isn't the bike. But any of you, raise your hand, I go off-road regularly. No, you don't. You bought a BMW. Street BMW, this is where it's at. Folks, thank you so much for talking to me and hanging out with me on my video logs here. Matty Motorcycle coming at you with many more 2020 motorcycle reviews. If you're in the New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut area, give me a shout, direct message me, leave me a comment, like, share, and definitely subscribe. I want to come to you and see your bikes. Thanks again to Gold Coast Motorsports. Give them a check out. I'm going to put a link at the bottom. We'll see you at the next one.